And we ought to be live. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the No Faces Comic Chat. This week we're the Sure Shot Shield Shooters. And
Jeez.
I know.
Be careful with that last word, especially, man. That could be dangerous, man.
It was a solid name choice.
I thought so.
Well, of course, Chris Barkham's gonna think that.
Yes, of course I am.
Of course.
Can you not see the background?
Yeah, I can see the background. I can see the background. There's more shields.
And that's only one wall.
Oh, I can only imagine.
That's beautiful. So hey, Gomez, comic collectors in there. JPL flashed in the chat. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, James and Gomez, man. All right.
That's a solid start to the night, I think.
I tell you, man.
Go ahead and introduce our guests. We got OneLegged Books is in the house tonight. Say hi, OneLegged Books.
Hello, everybody. I'm OneLegged Books, a.k.a. Chris Barkham.
Nice. And we've got, now, I'm going to say he's a special guest. So the difference between special guests and just a guest is that a special guest is someone who does not show their face ever. Has never shown their, I'm sorry, a special guest is someone who does show their face from time to time on their own video or in their own channels. We were just talking about it. Chris does not show his face very often, but he has a couple of times. So whereas we have no idea what Roger looks like, there's some sketches that I found, and there was a milk carton one time, and I swear it fit the description, but I don't know if it was him, so we can't go by that. So we don't know exactly for sure.
I don't want to bring down the whole YouTube, so I keep it off. That's my contribution to this.
We appreciate.
I've seen Roger's hand in videos.
Do what?
You have?
I said I've seen Roger's hand in videos.
Oh yeah, he should be a hand model. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, I'm blushing, Bob. I'm blushing as we speak.
Oh well, we wouldn't know, so it's okay. Your secret's safe with us. We got the go-to geeks in the house. We got Rayman, the Salsa Man. Hey everybody. We're excited to have you. Of course, as always, we've got Roger in the house, Metarog.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm here to make trouble as always.
Yeah. And DS Comics is not in today, or he may be. We don't know. He might hop on later. He's in flight right now. Who knows where he's going to land? We don't know what's going on with him. We sent a search party, and all they brought back was a deflated Wilson volleyball. So hopefully we find him soon, and we'll get him back on track. But he might show up sometime tonight.
Hopefully he'll just be fashionably late.
Yes. He's always on time. He's as punctual and fastidious as you, Roger.
Excuse me. Yes. I can be punctual here and again, but Latins as a culture have troubles being punctual. So, but I try.
Is that true? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, why not, right?
I don't know how many parties I've gone to says, "Oh, it starts at 8." You get there at 8, crickets. It doesn't start. Even the hosts don't show up till like 9. So believe me, it's true.
Oh, that's not right. So we're just going to get into it a little bit tonight. I don't have my prize up today. Usually I've got my prizes ready to go, but we'll give out something for points tonight. I just don't know what it is yet. Actually, I was expecting a big package today that didn't show up. So, and it was labeled by. So this afternoon it said that it was out for delivery. This morning, actually, it said it was out for delivery, and then usually if the package is too large, they put it in my P.O. box. They delivered to the P.O. box instead, which is nice of them. So I stopped by the P.O. box on the way home. Nothing there. And instead, so then I go back to the tracking number, right? And it says animal interference. Expected delivery tomorrow.
Yeah, USPS hit a deer or something.
No, I expected my dog to have a postal shoe hanging out of his mouth when I got home, but I guess he run him off.
Oh my gosh! Is he?
Yeah.
Is he in the yard?
Yeah, he's loose.
Oh, okay.
He's a loose goose.
I thought it was like, oh, I hit a deer. I gotta limp back to the post office.
Oh, I wouldn't accept that. If they just hit a deer, they need to go on and get the package delivered. I mean, what is this?
Well, I mean, some people are squirrely about those kind of bad juju stuff. If I hit a deer, that's it. I gotta go home. That's it.
That happens. That's the number one reason why no one shows up to a party on time.
Ah, well,
bad juju.
There's a lot of bad juju in Latin. Oof, lots.
It's flying all over.
I tell you. Let's see. G-Pale Flash. Animal interference. Left. Yeah. Oh, Bueller's here.
Hey, Bueller, what's going on?
Yeah.
We're just getting rolling here.
64-page special won his contest today.
Oh, did he announce the winner? I missed it.
Yeah. 64-page special won the New Mutants 98 and some other stuff. So.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I've entered I'd say a bunch because I don't know. I know how you feel about contests or like it almost I enjoy doing them, but you want to when they start calling them support videos, right?
Yeah.
So I never feel compelled to enter a contest, but I often feel compelled to do a support video. So
right.
So then I'm like, oh man, I got to get this done, and there's so many great people out there, and I want to support them all, and it almost feels like work sometimes. But this past month, I really tried hard to at least throw a few out there, and I think I did like 4 or 5. I didn't win any of them, man. None. I won nothing.
Silver Age Dave won all of them.
I know. He even won mine.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And now OneLegged Books has got his contest there, which I've seen some of his entries, some of the entries already. Matilda did one, and somebody else did one. So
yeah, I've got 2 entries so far. Matilda, who is actually giving her prize if she wins to you.
Yeah,
and Comic Book Brigade.
Who, Roger or me?
Yeah,
Roger.
Me.
Figures.
Me. Why should you give it to you?
It figures. I'm a likable guy.
Well, that's debatable, but anyway. Yeah, congratulations, Chris. I'm actually working on your video, and I've got it pretty much done. I just got to go back and make sure that it's what I say is true in it.
Well, I feel like after our chat this afternoon with your video, like you already know one book for sure to show off to get 2 entries. So
I'm not going to do that. That's not the way I roll. I'm going to see if I can stump you.
That's what I want to see. I want to see people like, oh, he's going to have this book. And then I go, no, I don't. I need to go get that book.
That's right. That's what I'm
what I'm hoping for.
So I'm throwing a curveball at you. Let's see if you can hit it.
All right.
I was thinking of cheating on this one too. I was going to show this book for my video, which I know you have because you're giving it away in the contest, right? It's one of the prizes.
It is one of the prizes.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you can't see it because it's on the adjacent wall. I have a print that is signed by McNiven of that exact cover. That's a virgin.
Signed by Leaston.
Jeez.
Here. Chris. Is it Joe Leaston, I think?
Yeah.
He's sideways.
Jay Liston.
Jay Liston.
Yeah, it's Jay Liston.
Nice.
Yeah, he's he probably did the inking for it. That or the colors. It'll be one or the other.
Cool. Yeah, and he's got that nice Zek cover, which I'm like eyeballing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need all those.
Well, need is perhaps a strong word, but boy, I'd like that.
Yeah, that's why I chose that word, Roger.
Oh.
I need that.
Okay.
Which cover are you looking at?
Oh.
Nice.
When I'm doing my video, I totally forget. I blank out on the prizes. I just sort of focus on the channel and the requirements and stuff like that. But after I did the video, I'm like, oh yeah, that's would be sweet.
Well, I've got more prizes coming. Like, I know I just picked up the Death of the Inhumans, the Chichetto like Virgin variant that they're doing for the Young Guns. So I'll have one of those for each of the prize packs. I still need to. I'm cleaning out some trades, so I definitely will have a trade for everybody as well that wins. Right. So I picked up some omnibuses. So
everybody out there in the chat, I hope you're listening. Make a video for OneLegged Books because I tell you, these prize packages are sweet. Absolutely sweet.
And I've already sent him $20 in hope that he'll favor my name in the hat. So you guys better get on it and make some awesome videos.
Oh boy.
I got 6 entries in the bucket.
Mafia tactics don't work with One-Legged Books. He's an ex-policeman.
That is true. They do not work. But if you send me donuts, we could talk.
There you go. How about a Dunkin' Donuts gift certificate?
Another stereotype. You see that? You see this?
It's not a stereotype because you can. My girlfriend's watching, and if she decides to chime in, she'll tell you it's the truth. I got no problem walking into a donut shop going, yeah, I'll get this one and that one. Can I get a dozen to go?
Is it true that in the 20th and 21st century, there's never been a crime committed in a donut shop?
I don't know about that because I've seen a lot of people rob gas stations, and there's Krispy Kreme donuts in all the ones where I live. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm dedicated, where you can sit down and, you have a coffee and all that stuff.
Not that I've ever seen because we don't have a legit donut shop like that around here.
Oh, okay. Well,
I have a Dunkin' Donuts, but everybody just goes through the drive-through.
Yeah.
When I go by a donut shop, a Dunkin' Donuts or something, I slow down. Like they might be undercover.
Yeah, that's right.
They're probably there.
Okay,
and I think.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the biggest problem too is at least all the cops I knew, we didn't go to the donut shops because people would bring them in for us, so we could just take them with us.
Oh, you see that?
But I had a.
Go ahead.
But I was going to say I have a cousin who actually drives around with a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in his car just on the off chance he gets pulled over.
Oh,
wow.
He works for them.
He works for Krispy
Oh, that works.
Oh, okay, that works. Wow, I was going to say that's really like, next level thinking right there. Oh yeah, I'm going to speed, so let me have some donuts here. I'll just sort of put them on the dash here when he stops.
I tell you, when I was in college, I used to deliver pizzas. And, to me, time was money. So the faster you could deliver a pizza, the better tip you got usually. And the more deliveries you could take in an hour or a day. So the faster I drove, the more money I made. And I got pulled over a lot. And I never got a ticket the whole time because I had someone's hot pizza there waiting. And as soon as the cop pulled me over, they'd look over and they'd see the pizza and they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to get somebody their dinner. He's like, all right, well, slow down a little bit for me. I'm like, all right. And I go take off, Well,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, keep pizza in the car. That's mine. Pizza or donuts sounds like that'll work.
Two things I don't eat, so, there we go.
Oh, you can get like a celery stick or something. They might like that.
Yeah, that'll get me arrested quicker.
Some health food guys.
They're out there. All right, guys. Well, let's see what we can do on some topics tonight. We have, let's see. We're going to talk a little bit about comic shops. So for those of you who don't know, and please elaborate, all due guests, that I know Roger used to work or help out or however you want to look at it. A lot of us don't end up working in comic shops. We just help out, right?
Well, I work for comic books.
You worked for comic books? What's that?
Yes. That means I got paid in comic books.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sweet. And I know, Chris, you help out in a comic shop as well, right?
That is true. And I get paid just like Roger.
Really?
Yep, I get store credit.
Yep.
Wow.
Same thing with me. They couldn't afford to pay me, put me on the payroll, so I said, that's no problem. Just pay me in comics.
That's exactly how I felt about it. And I even joked that for a long time I was kind of working for free. So,
because you couldn't find any comics you wanted, or what?
No, it's a small shop, so I was able to afford the books, so I would buy the books, but I bulked up so much credit that he was like, if I ever have to pay you out, you're gonna bankrupt the store, so you can't buy anymore. So I'm not allowed to spend real money in there.
Oh, nice. That's my kind of arrangement right there.
Yeah.
Hey, I enjoy it, and the shop's a lot of fun. So.
Oh yeah, it is a lot of fun to work there, and I used to get first dibs on the collections that used to come in, so that was always
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of my comics that you see here, unless I bought them off the stand, I usually got them, either at cons or in that comic shop. But I used to work in the summers.
That's neat. I have never worked at a comic shop. It's a sad story. Now I do help them out a little bit. So like not too long ago, my LCS got a collection, and I sell to my comic shop more than anything. I buy from them a little, but I sell to them a lot. So my local comic shop will buy in bulk, right? So they'll buy a bunch of, whatever, $75 for a long box kind of thing, right? And they might buy a collection, like 5 or 6 long boxes. So if I'm there selling something to them that day, then I'll go through that collection for them and pull out things that are more valuable or that I think they can sell, or help them price some of the stuff. And I basically do that for free. But then as I'm going through, when I see a couple of things that I like, I throw that in on the deal of whatever I'm selling them. Like, well, you can shave $10 off what you were going to pay me for the comics I sold you, and I'll take these 30 comics home. So that happens quite a bit.
I tell you, Bub, I mean, you are just something else. You are a silver-tongued devil, you are.
You're too sweet. All right, so let's talk about what we're here for a little bit. Building the perfect comic shop. So I want to look at this a couple of different angles. One way I want to look at it as the buyer. When you walk into it, let's look at this first way, is when you walk into a shop, each of you get to walk into your dream comic shop. And what do you see? What's the experience? What books do they have? What are the pricing like? What are the people like? We'll start with you, Roger. When you walk into a comic shop, what is it you're hoping to see?
Well, first thing I like to see is that there's somebody behind the counter who actually knows about comics, who actually knows about the different eras of comics, who knows about writers, who knows about artists, who knows about distribution, who has at least a general knowledge of those areas that I just discussed. And the comic shop that's near me, which I won't name, but there is one guy there who knows this stuff pretty well, but the rest are, unless it's a new comic, they really are not. They can't give you suggestions. They can't point you to, storylines or artists or anything like that. So that's one thing that I think is necessary to me when I look into and go into a comic shop, because even though I have a fairly good knowledge base, I don't know it all. And every once in a while, I want to know, hey, for example, I collect. I wanted to collect all the appearances of Warlock, right?
Yeah.
And so he has some obscure appearances here and there. So I said, hey, do you know if you have this issue? Do you know if Warlock was in there, or do you know if he wasn't? And it's like, who's Warlock? So right there, that's a turn off to me, right? Because they don't even know the character, much less his appearances. Obviously, I would like it to be organized, because the one that I worked in was just a mess. I mean, it was the comics were just there was an aisle down the middle and 2 against the wall, and there was no rhyme or reason. Sometimes the A's were on the left and the B's were on the right. I mean, it wasn't alphanumeric. It was just sort of thrown in there. So I don't like to waste time looking through bins and bins and bins if I just want a certain back issue. So I like it to be organized and to have a fair amount of back issues, not something that they keep in the back there for years and years, and they dig out whenever they run out a little low on a box.
So you want basically no back room. You want all the comics out and available to dig through.
Well, no, they have to have a back room because there has to be a staging area where you're going to grade and you're going to go through collections and you're going to parse them and you're going to see what wall books are there, et cetera, et cetera. I understand that, but there are some that that just, for example, there was one that here locally that they had a huge back room and they must have had 100 long boxes back there.
Oh my God!
And in all the years that I went, I think only 2 or 3 were removed. So I said, hey, can I go back there and look for it? And they go, no, because you're out of sight and, we don't know what you might do. Well, they're just lying there. They might have ASM 29 in there for all I know, but they just bought collections and it was like that warehouse in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was just there, but nobody used it. Nobody looked at it. Nobody examined it. Nothing like that. So yeah, I like an organized shop with a good amount of back issues and a staff that is knowledgeable.
That's, and it doesn't seem like that's too much to ask for, but I can tell you right now, it is.
Yes, I know. Trust me, they're rare.
My local comic shop, the guy doesn't know the owner, he doesn't know anything about comics really. What he knows, he's learned basically from running the shop and from listening to people like me, bless his heart. But that's about all he really knows about comics. What he knows, according to him, is how to sell stuff, anything. It's a widget. It's a doohickey. He doesn't care. Whatever it is, he'll sell it. He finds out what it's worth, and he's a bit of a showman, and he attempts to sell it. So that's how he looks at a comic shop. It's just another thing to sell. That's all comics are, just something else to sell.
Gotcha. A commodity, but not necessarily a work of art or of literature or anything like that.
No, nothing like that. Just completely just another thing to sell, which, I guess it puts off some customers, and other customers it doesn't, because a lot of people show up and they might be holding a comic and think, well, this is worth a lot. Some people get excited by the he doesn't know what he has feeling. This person doesn't know what they have, so I'm going to buy this because they don't know what they have, and I'm going to get a great deal, but it doesn't always work out in your favor. A lot of times people who don't know what they have also are sure that what they have is worth a lot more than it really is.
Right, and that's been my experience exactly. When if you show interest in it, then all of a sudden it's a hot commodity.
Yeah, exactly. Like the ones who price check you at the register. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you, Roger, but that's happened to me. And I tell you, I want to walk out every time it happens.
More times than hairs on my chin.
Oh, drive me crazy, won't
it? What do you think I am? Like the way I am?
I don't know how you are.
That's proof.
For all we know, you're Chewbacca's twin brother. We have no idea. That's the beauty of the No Faces chat. Welcome, everybody.
That's not far from the truth, actually.
Chris, what do you look for as a buyer in your dream comic shop? When you walk in, what do you see?
So let me go back to about pricing things at the counter.
Oh boy. Okay.
I went to a shop, brand new, had just opened, and I was like, hey, are the long boxes under the table for sale? Like the books in the box? He's like, yeah, it's all our back issues. They're all cover price.
Oh.
So I start finding, I found a full run Detective Comics Black Mirror run, including the 880 and the 881.
Wow.
I start finding Batman Hush books. I found 2 Captain Marvel 14s, first Kamala Khan's. And I asked this guy like 4 times. And then he sees me walk up to the counter. He goes, I'm going to have to look at these a little closer, I think. And then he won't sell me anything was the conclusion. He's like, I'm going to have to mark all these up. I can't sell you anything. Thank you, though, for finding these. And I was like, I think you can at least sell me something. Let's start pricing here a little bit. But, yeah, that was my pet peeve.
Wow. That's horrible.
I'm not going back to that shop, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. The closest I've ever come to that was just real quick. One time I went to a shop. It was recently, and they had Oblivion song, right? And I got it the day it came out. I got like 2 of them, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and get some more. So I went back and I said, let everyone else have a chance. I went back and I went to get some more, and they wouldn't sell it to me. And instead, they held it in the case, and they were like, "Oh, these are already spoken for." Like, yeah, right. And a week later, they had like $30 on each one, and were selling the same books. Which previously they didn't even know could potentially have any value until I guess alerted them to it.
Yeah,
I think we still have a stack of Oblivion song #1s at our shop. Like, it didn't sell well for us.
Wow.
So
that's surprising. Wow.
Our shop is very. Yeah, Dave's here.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
And Tat's also in here. Tat just showed his box. I don't know if you guys saw that video. All his box top art. Oh man, just amazing stuff. Amazing. I got that Deathlock, so now I'm like hooked on those box top arts.
Absolutely. Tat says there's a shop that I won't go to because I called them on a book. They said they can hold it for me, and it was first come, first serve. I went there to buy, and they only let me buy one. Ugh, that's frustrating too.
Yeah. You know, it's just not. It's lack of courtesy, first of all, because they had no idea what they had until you alerted them to it. And instead of saying, "Hey, listen, thank you for that. If you keep doing this in the future, here I'll give you a discount, or I'll just give you the book." You know, if they do that, I'm going to do everything I can for that shop, and I'm going to keep patronizing it. Now, what they're doing, everybody I know, I'm going to say, stay out of that. They're crooks.
Yeah, I agree. So, other than not getting price checked at the counter, Chris, what else do you look for in a shop?
So when I walk into a shop, I want to walk into a non-cluttered shop. I don't mind if you've got stuff and it's organized, but I don't want to walk in and immediately start bumping into things and running into people that are down the aisles and things like that. Especially being someone who's got, you know, a disability, it's really rough when, you know, you can't get down an aisle. And I've seen been in shops where people in wheelchairs can't go. I've been in one shop where the owner, if you tell him what you want, he goes down the aisle and gets it for you because you can't walk down the aisles.
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly.
So like,
jeez.
I want an open shop that's organized, but not, you know, like jam-packed, cluttered, full of stuff. I also want just the same thing as Metarog. I want a staff that knows what they're talking about. I don't mind if you've got the back issue guy and the guy that knows all the new books or girl. That doesn't bother me as long as they know what they're doing and they know how to handle books.
Oh,
I can't stand when people like start, you know, I buy books and they're raw and I'm like, can I get bags of boards for those? Yeah, sure. And like, you know, the manhandling begins trying to get it in. And I'm just like, oh, come on. I also want it to be well lit. I don't know how many times I've walked into the dully lit store and then I think I found a great book. And then I get outside into the light, you know, it's not, you know, as good as I thought it was. So I want it to be well lit. I prefer to have a nice, like, organized front wall with the newer comics. And then when I see your back issues, if they're they've got to be in some kind of order for me. Whether they're alphabetized, whether it's by company, just some kind of order so I know that I'm not wasting my time going through 8 million long boxes to find nothing, you know, because I can't get to anything.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want bothered a whole lot. Like, I don't mind talking to people, but I don't want someone following me around, especially as someone who's been in law enforcement. That bothers me and it makes me feel rushed. And I don't like that feeling.
Now, when you say
now, JPL says he likes the cluttered shop.
No, that's hilarious.
Well, you know,
I will agree. You can find gold. It's just I don't always have a lot of time, and cluttered shops take time.
Yeah, that's true. You can find gold, but you know, like I have a handicap too. I'm old, right? So I don't like I don't like when they put when they put the, you know, like the buy stacking back issues, when they put these back issue bins on top and they put another one underneath, and I can only kneel down for so long in that position and look through a long box.
We do that, but we also have a table in the back of our shop where you can actually pick up. So the boxes on the bottom of our shelves are short. They're short boxes. But you can pick them up and put them on the table. Like, we don't care because we know, and if you ask us, we'll pick every box up you want and put it on the table.
Yeah, that's okay. What I'm
like, that doesn't bother us because we know some people can't stay down that long.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's fine. Short boxes I can pull out, but I'm saying I went to a shop when it was maybe about 6 months ago out of town, and they had it's sort of like a bracket so that they could slip the long boxes in this metal bracket, right? And then they had one, you know, a normal waist level, and then under that they had another divider bracket, and then they had the other long box underneath it. You have to look over that bracket. In other words, it was you know, it was just the front beam there. You have to look over that and flip through the comics, and you couldn't pull them out because it would hit the bracket.
Oh,
so I mean, what evil genius thought of that?
I mean,
I've
been to the shops
or something.
I've been to the shops that have that kind of setup, but I prefer like the ones that do the file cabinets where they do the drawers. I don't like the drawer box comic shops that do that because I feel like you got to balance that weight all the time, and that gets real rough. So,
and
another thing,
when I stretch over.
Go
ahead.
if you're gonna do a wall, I'm cool if it's behind the counter. But if you do a wall that goes so high up that you can't get things off it, or you have employees that can't reach them, because whether you need a ladder or something, that's not a wall that's accessible. Like, I don't want the books that are all the way at the top that you can't tell me how much they are because you can't get to it because it's, so far up because you don't have a ladder anymore.
I'm just showing my box of Silver Age Days that it was a 4 to 4.5.
What?
That's the box you got from your pickup, right?
From the garage sale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He says I like the haul. He's not talking about the books. He's talking about the long box. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. I like your attention to detail. Forget about the 50 comics that I picked up. He likes the free long box. You're great, Dave. I mean, the hauls he gets.
Hey, if you buy enough, he'll give you the box.
Yeah, I mean, he actually said he could give me more, but the problem was that there was like 10 guys, a gauntlet I had to run just to get through those boxes. I didn't want to have to go back over there and grab another one.
Yeah, that garage sale sounded rough.
Oh man, it was. Let me tell you, man, it reminded me of WWF at some point because there was one guy, he was trying to squeeze in between me and another guy, and this guy is 350, 6'3", 6'4". And when he squeezed in, it was like pressure pulling out toothpaste. It was we just went to the sides. And he was like, "Oh, excuse me." Well, excuse you, you're taking up like 4 long boxes here. So all we did is we went to the other side and started to flip through on the other side.
Well, that was his strategy. He just claimed a couple boxes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I had already gone through those, so I didn't mind. So.
Yeah, you were always early.
Yeah, I was. If you saw my tip videos, man, you got to get there early, man. You got to when they advertise comics over here, it's like you might as well put live meat into a piranha pond because that's what you're going to get, a feeding frenzy. And that's and if thank God me and this guy were early. And it was like hot that day, guys. I mean, it was already 90 degrees at 9 o'clock. And that garage was 110 easy. So it was not fun.
Wow. I really enjoy going to those garage sales, but here lately, I've tried all your tips, Roger, and they haven't worked for me yet. Because I remember, I think you had said one time too, like you go in there and if you see like Hot Wheels or other things, yep. And then you ask them, is there a bigger collection? Do you collect other things? Do you have any comics in the attic or the cellar or the basement, anything?
Yeah.
And so I've done all that. And what I hear instead is, no.
Yeah. Well, again, you're playing the odds, right? I mean, generally people who collect cards or dolls or action figures, about 10% of them will also collect comics. But if you hit just on one big score, and I've hit 2 or 3 of those, it's worth it. Trust me. Yeah,
I'm going to keep trying. I mean, I haven't given up yet. In my area, they have America's longest yard sale was just this past week.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did that. I did it for 3 days. And it was big fun. I had a big time and I didn't buy any comic. I bought 4 comics and they were out of a small little flea market that happened to be on the route, but it was not because of the actual yard sale. And I couldn't find any. And the few that were there were ridiculously priced. It's like people have an old comic and they say, "Oh, well, if I've got an old comic, then it's got to be worth a bunch of money."
Oh yeah.
And it's just $50 for a Superboy.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just lucky. I live in a big retirement area, so when people pass away, they have comics, and the estate sale companies they sell them at essentially a bulk price or per 50 cents per. So lucky that way.
Yeah, that is good. I would take that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you seem to always have estate sale hauls.
Yeah, I go to a lot of, again, they're literally, I could go if I wanted to 15 to 20 every weekend. but I don't have time to do it. So I try to look around and see what there is in the pictures, and based on that, I make an analysis that they could have, comic books, video games, things like that I can, either buy off, or I can, buy and then fund other purchases.
I tell you, Roger, I was on vacation last week. I went to this one shop. I thought of you the whole time I was in there. He buys and refurbishes arcade machines.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Excuse me. And he had an arcade set up inside the comic shop.
Oh,
and next
that.
door.
That's
It was
cool.
it was in a mall,
Oh.
and he had two locations: the comic shop with an arcade inside, and then next door was all classic arcade, and they were all quarter plays.
Oh, nice.
Because a lot of times when they revamp these arcade machines, they ramp up the price. You got to put in like $1.50 to get anything done. But he had refurbished all these to original condition. Had black lighting in the arcade next door, and even had an old jukebox from the 80s.
Oh, that's
the
a
original
cool shop.
music in it.
That is a
Oh,
cool
it's
shop.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And he also refurbished game systems and resold them, and had lots of games for sale too, as well as collectibles and comics. It was a fantastic shop. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. Yeah. Those are very few and far between. Very few and far between.
Yeah, I was happy. I felt honored to have seen it.
Yeah. Hey, the boy who had sevens here. Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, he's a former guest.
We had him on a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Great chat that time.
Absolutely. So we've talked some about what we like to see when we go in, and consequently what we don't like to see when we go in, as they tend to go hand in hand, right? So we definitely want to walk in as a buyer. You want a knowledgeable staff. You want it organized. You want wall books. You want it bright and roomy. We agree with all that. But what about the prices? Like, what are you looking to buy when you walk in there? Because when I walk in, here's what I've seen. I go into a comic shop. The wall books are double the price of what they should be. And I don't understand that at all. They're not based on condition at all, most of the time. And then, you have dollar bins, which you can hunker down. Some comic shops will put like nothing but independent titles that are not like the most popular ones anyway. And, things of that nature. So when you're walking into a comic shop, like for instance, if I'm going dollar bin hunting, I'd almost rather just go to the peddler's mall or flea market or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go to a comic shop, that's when I'm kind of looking to buy wall books or bigger books. So what do you guys look for when you go in there? Roger, we'll start with you.
Well, obviously, I mean, this is one problem I have with my local shop, is that they have every comic book that they have in the back issues is at least $10. That's the bottom line price, right? Because they have sales all the time, about every month, I want to say. And so they go 50% off. So obviously you can get them for $5. But even even the most beat up, ragged, there could be a bullet hole through the thing, and they're going to put it for $10. So I try to be reasonable, and I'm like, listen, like for example, I wanted to get, I think it was a Tomb of Dracula that I was missing. I'm trying to get it for my Marvel Value Stamp project. I think I've talked to you about that, Bub. Uh-huh. And it was the cover was so ragged, it was like almost like tissue paper, right? But it had the stamp in it, and so I said, hey, listen, you got this for $10. This thing isn't worth a buck, but I'll give you $2 for it. And he's like, oh no, that's $10. I'm like, come on, man, come on. Nobody's going to buy this. Even for $5, nobody's going to buy this thing, So right. they just won't budge. I mean, they just will not budge. That is the price, and if heaven forbid, if there's even a minor appearance, it's going to be $40. Like this one here that I picked up for $1 at the garage sale. This Shade the Changing Man, they got that one for $25, and it's like maybe a good.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that. So. But they do put stuff in the dollar bin because a lot of times they don't know what they got. If they're like, oh, I don't know that character, they'll just throw it in the dollar bin. So that's where I got the Fast Willie Jackson. I got the Micronauts and all that stuff.
That works. I actually, I missed out to talking about Tomb of Dracula. I missed out on huge Tomb of Dracula haul on eBay today. If anyone in the chat bought it, feel free to thumb me down and unsubscribe because I was like, really? It was the run from number 31, I think, to completion. It was about 38 books total. And Tomb of Dracula. And my top bid was like $75. Because I figure I had a retail value of it of somewhere around $230 retail. So I figure I could probably flip it for somewhere around $100. Well, actually, yeah. No. Is that right? No, I figured I was going to make $200 on it. So yeah, I could have sold it for $200. So I was going to try and get it for anything under $100, but I really didn't want to spend a bunch of money. So I was kind of being cheap. So I topped that at 75, ended up selling for 166.
Yeah.
And like the last 5 minutes of the auction just went crazy, you know?
And there's, did it have so there's no real key issues in there, is there?
No, but apparently anything with even a slight appearance of blade right now is really hot. So like, for instance, most of those books will go for about $10 by themselves. And then if you can get even a cameo appearance of blade in there, then it can be $20 or $30. And then there's one that kind of tells his origin, and that's in there, and it's like $50. You know, so there's a few of them that were over 10 in that run, and would have definitely been worth the, like that guy got it for less than half its value, for sure.
Wow. Well, yeah. I think I have like 31 through 50 or something, or 28 through 50 or something. I have to check on that. So that's where my run goes to.
You probably got quite a few good ones.
Yeah, I know. I have a blade in an Adventure into Fear. I think he had where he tried to kill Morbius. I remember that one.
Oh, nice.
He's on the. I'll dig it out. Go ahead, keep talking.
I can't get to mine, or I'll be on the camera. So. Nah. Well, I only have one Tomb of Dracula, and that's the 10.
Yeah.
That's the one to have.
Yeah, if you got to have one, that's the one.
Yeah, there's the blade cover that I was thinking about.
Oh, nice.
So.
Yes, I am after a 1, but it is very low on my to hunt list.
Yeah, there's my 1.
Bub got his. Yeah, Bub's got his.
Yeah, I got mine for free. Oh, I loved it.
I'm very proud of you, Bub, for zeroing that one out. Very proud.
I always do. I don't zero. I double. Double.
That's even better.
Double my money and keep my books for free.
All the better.
Yeah.
What was that song? Money
for nothing, right? Yeah.
Kids for free. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I'll just stick with the comics.
He meant comics. He just was a slip.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. The free women usually, you pay for it later.
Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
Be careful with that.
So,
Silver
Chris,
Dave. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He says everyone should shop at Silver's House of Comic Bling. High prices, but lots of atmosphere. Yeah, of course. If you've seen his comic there, man, jeez, that's better than any shop I have around here. Let me tell you, by far.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's an excellent selection, and nothing's for sale.
Nothing's for sale. That's right.
Yeah.
That's similar to my shop, I guess, in that sense, because nothing's reasonable for sale.
So, Chris, when you're going into a shop, what are you looking? Well, you get all your books for free too. I guess you trade books, but
I visit a lot of shops still.
What do you hunt for?
When I walk into a shop, I expect books that kind of come out that week to not be jacked up on the price already. If it's a new book, I know it could be a hot book. I don't expect to be paying triple cover price right off the get-go. Especially on a Wednesday. I could get it, on a Friday, I can understand, but a Wednesday I should still have a shot at it. When I'm looking at back issues, I want them to be competitively priced. I've got one shop in my area where literally every back issue is 50 cents. And I mean, you'll find books that are 3 weeks old.
Ooh, email me that, Chris. I'll drive down there myself.
It's a cluttered
Only
shop,
1,000
so I give you
miles?
that warning.
It's only 1,000 miles.
Yeah, it's not too far.
Not too far.
Straight up 81. But then,
That's a breeze.
but then when I'm looking at back issues, I want to see books that are, a lot of the shops in our area, at least they price based on condition. So it's not a set price. Now, a lot of the shops I go to, you won't find books under $2 to $3 in the back issue bins. Those are all in the 50-cent or dollar bins. There's nothing under that price in those bins. And, when you're going through them, you'll see some shops most have like a flat rate price in this area. One shop I go to, it's $2 and another is $3.25. Doesn't matter the condition. That's just what they are. And if it's, not that, they're in another bin. And then you'll find $20, $30 books in their back issue bins. Mm-hmm. And then you usually have to ask at the counter or look at the wall for the really high end stuff. But I don't expect to go in paying crazy high. Now, I heard a great analogy once about pricing, which was when you're looking at books like buying on eBay, there's no overhead. So you're going to get the best price. When you're looking at buying it like at a con, he's got the table and the travel, not as much money. But when you're looking at, a shop, that's got all the overhead in the world in it. So he's charging, and they're all charging more than what the least amount of, cost was. So I kind of remember that into it too. But I also judge, a shop based, when I'm buying books, I understand that I'm going to pay up for it too. So I just don't want to be gouged, and I don't want to be priced at the counter unless I know going into it I'm getting priced at the counter.
Right, but I mean, isn't the price? I mean, when Chris, you let me know because I've been out of the game for a while. The price of a comic, if it's $4, right? Don't they give you a discount even off of that normally?
So
comic book shop.
It depends. Like our shop is so to do that because it was actually costing us a lot of money to give subs a discount. So what we've tried to do is give subs like a priority on books. So if you you want a certain variant, we can qualify for it. We know you're getting that variant because you're a good customer. Or if we buy a collection and we know it's something you're interested in, we give you first dibs on it. But I can go, an hour away to a shop that if you sub 5 or more books, you get 10% off, all of the books. So another shop that doesn't do anything whatsoever, you could sub however many you want. They do nothing. So, it's all hit or miss based on what you see. One shop that doesn't do subs, it's all first come, first serve.
Yep.
And they'll tell you if you want to sub a book, go to Midtown.
Oh, wow. That's awful. I mean, that's awful. That I can't believe. I mean, that you're ostracizing your customer base there. I mean, that to me that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, what kind of
the guy that runs that shop he's a really kind of cranky guy, and I just don't think he enjoys it other than that he has to do the business still.
Oh boy.
Like I get that it's his livelihood. I don't go in there much and I don't mess with it, but when a hot book comes out, I take my chances and drive over there. So,
and in fact, Chris, you mentioned
it's not my top choice.
Yeah, you mentioned something that I want that to expound a bit, Bubba, when you asked me about the comic book shop and what I'm looking for. And I don't know if this might be something that doesn't happen anymore, but when I worked there in the 80s, we had a want list that people signed up for. So if we had a back issue that came in, and we had their want list and their number, we would call them and say, "Hey, we have such and such book here. It's this condition and it's this much." Do they still do something like that?
Holy cow, that would be awesome.
So I know of 3 shops, including the shop that I help out at. We all do that.
Oh, okay.
So if you tell us, now don't give us some crazy list. If you're looking for like a Grail, we're going to hook you up. But, but we keep a list and we kind of know, like, that's one of the things I look for at a shop when it's your local shop. How well does your shop know you? Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've got a Captain America Comics 40. It waited in a hold file for 3 months for me to buy it when I made my return trip to that shop finally. Now, it took me so long to get back because I had lost my leg at that point, and I had to recover, but they waited 3 months for me to come in and buy that book. And I was like, what were y'all going to do if I couldn't afford this book? And they're like, put it on the shelf. We just wanted to give you first dibs. And I was like,
nice. That's nice.
You guys have my phone number. But yeah, I was extremely, appreciative of it. And I bought that book, really no questions asked. So
yeah, see, that's
we do try to call people.
Okay. And that's very minimal effort, really. I mean, they just fill out, we just had just a very basic form, and we had it filed. In other words, this was the only thing. It was old tech, right? So we had to sort of remember, hey, if you wanted a Captain America 100, who was that, right? So what we did is that we would have a little tab that said coming up from it, and it would say Cap, and at least we knew that this is a Cap guy, But now with the databases that you have, you just put in somebody's name and the whole list can come out. So I see very little work.
One of the easiest ways to do it, Google Docs. That's what we do. We have lists for, special orders for everything. But then we have a list of like people's want list. Oh. So we can scroll through and see what they're looking for.
Nice. So that would be something I'd be interested in. Absolutely.
So when you get the books into the shop, Chris, when they roll in, or even Roger at that time, when they rolled in, do you go through the books right then and there? Someone is pricing them as they come in, right? You're pricing them as you go, you're organizing them, you're getting them separated, and then you start cross-referencing? I mean, do you even take an inventory? Because most of the shops I've been in, they don't seem to have any kind of inventory system at all. So unless they pulled the book right then when it came into the shop and they bought the collection or whatever, unless they pulled that book right then, they have no idea what's in those boxes.
Yeah, correct. I don't. Well, I mean, I've like I said, I've worked or helped out in a few, and I've been deeply involved with others. And you're right. They don't have an inventory system. There was only one that had those handheld scanners. That when a book came in, they would put a little sticker on there and they would note it. But I believe that scanner system broke or something. I'm talking late 90s or so. But yeah, you're right. When we got in a collection, we would look through it and we would pull out the books that we thought people might be interested in. And then we would look through the list to see if anybody had that title, and then we would go into their list to see if they wanted it. Once it got into the back issue bins, that's it. We weren't going to be hunting that down.
Wow. So it's kind of, you gotta have to be ready.
Yeah, you have to be ready. And hopefully the collection didn't come in on a Wednesday when we got the new comics, because we're swamped on Wednesdays, so we would have to wait till the next day. And, sometimes those would be pushed under the table and we'd forget about it until, who knows when.
Wow. Yeah, what happens at your shop, Chris?
So if we've got the time, when we're going through it, we're kind of earmarking books that we know people are interested in already. Our shop's small, so we know a lot of our clientele. So we'll start going in our head. All right, so-and-so wants this, this, and this. And that will actually make some of the collections we buy more appealing to us if we know those books already. Happen is, like Roger said, if it's a Wednesday or we're real busy, we'll price it later, or we may just pull the keys out and then deal with it, when we can get around to pricing it.
Yep.
But once it's the same deal, once it hits the back issue bin, if you wait 2-3 weeks, stop. We can't hold, a $200-$300 book for, 2-3 weeks with no word. It starts going around, making its trips to other people and things like that to see if they're interested. We send an email and we try to dib or we box in there. Even if you can't buy it that day, we're at least trying to let you know that it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So,
cool.
Hey, but I actually...
Go ahead.
It's called 4-Color Fantasy. It's in Winchester inventory of the store.
You're breaking up a little bit on me, Chris. I don't know. Bob, Are you getting that too?
No, what did he say?
Yeah, I don't know. He broke up a little bit there on me. 4-Color something. Chris, you hear us?
I may be having some Technical difficulties.
Some connection issues.
That happens.
Better now. I moved it a little closer.
Okay. Yeah, you were breaking up on me a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
So it's a sheer fantasy. It's in Winchester, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's an hour north. Their entire inventory is digitalized.
Oh, wow.
You can call them and ask them for a book, and they will tell you if they have it. Cool. And what they do to keep this system accurate is when you buy back issues, they write every book you buy down, and then they go from their back stock to pull it if they have a duplicate, or they update the computer. So, I mean, the system is crazy, and I can only fathom how long it took to get in place.
Oh, my God, I can only imagine on that. Whew, my gosh.
But they just bought a collection. They have a consignment collection. It's 68 to 72 long boxes. It's a massive collection, and they digitalized even all of that stuff.
Wow.
So you can call, and not only do they have it, like with this private collection, they'll tell you how much it is when you call too.
Wow. Do they have an
online? So not only will they see.
I was just asking if they have. Do they have an online store?
No, they don't.
Oh.
They're literally brick and mortar. That's it.
Wow, that's amazing for a brick and mortar. It really is. I applaud them. Really, that's going beyond the Call of Duty right there.
Well, I mean, if I was going to run a shop in my head, right? So we'll switch a little to the other side of the coin.
That's a scary thought. Right there.
I know. If you were going to own a shop of your own, you can put in place any type of system you want. This is your fantasy shop, right? Not the fantasy shops Roger hangs around. This is a fantasy shop. You know, whatever you want.
What is that supposed to mean, Bub?
I know you like dragons and things. That's all. But no, like the regular the regular shops. You know, this shop is whatever you want to make it. So what do you do with it? You know what? How do you organize your books? How do you set it up? What's your pricing scheme? What do you think, Roger? What would you do?
Wow. Wow. That's a good. You got me unawares there. Yikes. Well, first of all, you have to accurately grade it. Let me plug in my phone. It's like going bugaboo on me. This phone is like battery is like boo, no good. Can you see? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to just hear me now because I had to take off the mic. So you have to accurately grade things. I mean, at least within, don't call a VG a VF. You know what I mean? At least have it in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Right. And ideally, you would follow the trends on things like YouTube and chat boards and eBay, and see what is trending and see what is selling, and price things accordingly. I don't know how feasible that would be for a comic shop to have that kind of in-depth knowledge, but in today's information age, I would think you'd have to have somebody that is just dedicated to pricing and to grading and to keeping up with the trends, because now a book can go hot from one day to the next. It can jump 400%.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, you need somebody who is knowledgeable on technology fronts and on trending fronts. So that's who I would have, somebody of that nature.
I think one of the things like that you mentioned there is key. You said price it accordingly. So I went to 2 shops while I was on vacation that were very clear that to them pricing accordingly was to find out how much the price was, and then at a minimum they raised the price by 15% and said that was a starting point for negotiation if the customer insisted on negotiating. Okay. So, for me, that's an issue, because to me, if I'm going to a shop, I know that I like to negotiate. It doesn't bother me. I want to pay what I want to pay. And if I can't pay that, then I'm not going to get to buy the book. I'm not going to be angry or upset. I consider it a win because that money's still in my account,
Right.
But a lot of people, just don't enjoy haggling. They don't want anything to do with it. There's a lot of sticker price people, and probably most people just want to see a price and pay that price and walk out. So I don't think And I think that's probably the majority of people, even in a collectible shop. So I don't think that you really want to overprice your stuff purposefully just as a negotiation tactic. I don't think that's really a good way to keep your customers coming back.
Well,
but shops do it.
10 or 15% is not as egregious as what the shop that I go to does. So maybe I'm a little more sympathetic to that. But I agree with you in principle. Don't get me wrong. But I'd take that over doubling it, and just hoping that sales will bring the market back to you. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. You want people to be buying all year round, not just once a month.
Yeah. I think that for me, if I was going to run my dream shop, one of the things I would do is it's not always what you can get out of a book. I think if I want people to keep coming back to my shop, then I want to pass the savings along,
Yeah.
So if I get a collection and, basically this book in the collection only costs me X amount of dollars, maybe I charge 2 times X, but just because I can get 5 times X doesn't mean I should charge that. And it would probably be better if I had a reputation for a place that you could get great deals. I don't want to lose money. I want to still make money, and I want to keep my profit margins relatively steady. But at the same time, I would like to pass that savings on to the customer. That way I can build some loyalty of people coming to my shop first when they need their stuff.
Oh, you're just making way too much sense there, Bub. You're just making way too much sense.
Yeah, right.
You said that I live in a fantasy comic shop. That's a fantasy comic shop right there.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
But let me tell you, as a longtime collector, that's right on target. That's exactly what I would look for. Because again, like anything else, I'm there. I'm there because I want certain comics. I'm not there because I want to I want to find the hottest thing, and I want to be what is this guy getting? What do you hear of scuttlebutt? I want certain comics. And the pricing to me is important because I want that certain comic in a condition that is reasonable for on the market or under the market price. Because who wants to pay above market price? Nobody. But to me especially, I'm not looking for a hot book. I'm looking for for example, I'm looking for a Marvel value stamp book, Fantastic Four 155. You can't use the same logic with that and a Tomb of Dracula 10.
Right.
You're not going to have people walking into your shop asking for Fantastic Four 155. But the mentality to them is that, oh well, everything should be at a structure so far above the market, that it's going to stay in the shop, and when we have a sale, then it might leave. I mean,
I tell you,
doesn't make any sense.
Talking about the sales, and that irks me too. So I have one shop that has that they run a sale about once a quarter, and I appreciate that, a financial quarter. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right, about every 3 months. So I have a shop that does that, and so any book under $5, they sell for $1, and they do it about 4 times a year. And then they have an anniversary sale, and they have like a 4th of July sale. So it's the same sale every time, but they run it probably a total of 7 times a year, all throughout the year. So I'm okay with that because the sale's coming. So if you're in a hurry and you need the book now, go buy the book, pay the price, right?
Right.
But if it's a back issue you're looking for, then they're enticing you to come at least 7 times a year to hunt and get a good deal. So I'm totally good with that. However, there's one shop that I frequent. They don't do it anymore, but for a long time, they were having online sales. And they would pull a book that was priced, ridiculously, $4 or $5 for a book that came out last year, a fairly recent back issue, right? And then they would have it at cover price or higher in the bins for the walk-in customers. And then they would take it to the room in the back, and they would do an online auction at $1 a book.
Wow.
And it's like, so you're turning them into dollar books, in your little room, but then when you bring it out to me and I'm here in person and I got to pay $4 for it, what? It's a slap in the face. You're telling me don't come back. You're telling me go home, sit on my computer, and wait for the next sale. And I didn't appreciate that, but thankfully they stopped doing that. And I think they just kind of ran out of comics. But
well, or they may just be throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, But again, you have a customer in the shop, like whoever, right? To me, that is the person you have to coddle a little bit. You have to be a little reasonable with. And, again, having comics that are, so unreasonably priced, to me, is a turn off and a half. I don't have a choice because I only have one comic shop within 25 miles of me. So I have no choice. This is where I go because they have a monopoly as far as I'm concerned. I'm not driving 25 miles to another comic shop.
Right.
But to me, you're right. I mean, to me, that is a poor business model. I mean, they need to take some management classes. They need to take some customer service courses or something so that they can see that their business is running at a much lower level than it has to, just because they're not looking at the customer as a customer. They're looking at him as some guy that comes in and maybe he'll spend some money every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, like a browser. And maybe they feel like most of the customers are walking to the store browsing because their prices are so out of line that they're not shopping.
Well, that's right. And that's again, it's all perspective. From their perspective, that's the case. But if they look at themselves honestly, they're creating the browsing. They're not, the browsers are not there because of their browsers. It's because when they see it, they're like, oh, forget it. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, the boy who had 7 talks comic books says, if I could get 5 times, I'd go for. In other words, if when he's selling a book, if he could sell it for 5 times what he paid for it, like that's the going rate, then instead he would go with 4 times what he paid for it to give the customers a good reason to come back. I think that's also fair. You don't have to just have a straight number that a hard profit margin. You can have a percentage built in and say that's the range you want to be in. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that, and Chris, maybe you can chime in on this one, but the back issues can get stagnant. I mean, you want to move those along. You don't, if something is there for $10 and it's been there 5 years, well, that's telling you that that's not a comic that you have priced correctly. You got to start to turn over inventory, bring newer stuff in, bring other titles, or at least a range of comics that perhaps because you're using up that space in a comic that is not going to sell. Put that in the dollar bin and put something in there that will.
Exactly. I tell people all the time, we price it to move. We don't price it to keep it. We're not collecting in the store. We're in the store to sell books. So we are trying to get rid of books. So if it sits for too long, we want you to make us an offer if you've seen it. I've done that same approach when I go into shops. If I see a book and I know it's been on the wall 6 months, a year, I might say, hey, are you willing to do any better on that? And if they say no, I say, well, I was in here like a year ago and you still had that book. And if they say no, that's, their book to keep and I'm going to go elsewhere. But we price our books to be competitive, to move them, because we're not collecting in the store. If you're running a store to collect and you need to just have a collection, don't price yourself to sit there. It's not doing you any good if it's just sitting there.
Yeah. So is it a business or is it a hobby?
Yeah.
Right.
It's great. I think every person that runs a shop does this, where you start to shop for yourself. But those things you're not keeping for yourself, that's not your collection either. That's the stuff you're selling. Get rid of it. Don't price yourself out of a sale.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. And when a shop is asking that kind of money, and it's something that's sat there forever, that drives me absolutely insane. When I've been in the shop 10 times, I'm like, that price hasn't moved. And yet I would be interested in it if they would just move it a little. And you offer them to move it a little, and they still don't move. I'm like, look, I'm the only guy in the whole county who's ever even shown any interest in this book, and you can't come down a little bit? It just drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's a wiggle amount.
It makes me sick, which in ape language is gumadu. In case you didn't know, I'm learning how to speak ape.
Oh, did you tell Chris about that? Did you tell Chris?
I don't know. So Roger sent me.
I did not know this.
Okay.
Tarzan's Jungle World, and inside it has all these great, like a dictionary of how to speak ape. It says Tarzan's Ape to English Dictionary, and the word for sick is gumadu. So there you go, guys. That's your ape word of the day. Sick. Gumadu. There'll be a test next week, so I hope you're paying attention.
Is that gumadu? Is that what you said with a G?
Gumadu. Yes.
Gumadu.
It makes me completely gumadu. That's what I say.
Yeah, Mrs. Bub is just so proud of you right now.
Yes.
Learning a whole other language just like that.
She's passed out drunk on the couch. What can I say? She's not.
Language.
Surely not. Surely not.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Oh boy.
You're too much. You're too much, man. Oh, by the way, over here, Chris, I put this out here for you, buddy. Of course, I love this lithograph, Chris. I mean, obviously, you know that already, and I'm looking.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm looking for a frame for that thing. I want like a red, white, like I thought maybe 4th of July, there would be some around. I went to various shops. Nobody has, can you believe this? Nobody has a patriotic frame around here. Nobody. So I just figured I'll buy a blue one, and my daughter, she's a bit of a painter. She'll sort of, make it nice and Captain America-y for me.
That's cool.
This is just a wonderful thing to have. I have this over here to the right normally. You guys don't see it off camera. And I just look at that every day, along with my display up there.
Yeah, it's an awesome piece. And then the story behind it's just so, like, to think that he was doing that for his fans because he couldn't draw all the time, but he gave them a sketch anyway was an awesome thing.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. Did you say that on video, or was that to your email to me? I don't remember.
I think I just told you the story in the email.
Oh, okay, all right.
No. You put it in a video. I remember hearing it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's a good story. You should go give the short version real quick.
So the short version is that piece is actually a piece of Jack Kirby's Comstock. He didn't always have time but he wanted people to leave with a sketch, so he printed little lithos of different sketches, and his grandson, who runs like not a store per se, but he does have a store, but he runs a website about his grandfather, found a briefcase with just a couple hundred copies of certain pieces that his grandfather used to use, and he decided to he gives them away as prizes, or he does sell them, or but I was able to pick up, I have 2 of them, and I gave one to Metarog as a part of an AOK. So, but that is Jack Kirby Comstock right there. It's not an original sketch, on it, but it is a Kirby sketch that he then went and printed. So, but that's why it's not signed, because he would sign those for you.
Yep.
I like the story even better. That it's not
awesome, isn't it? Awesome.
Yeah, it is quite amazing.
I love this, Chris. I mean, I don't know how I can express that any more than that, but
that's the best though.
My daughter is like, she's like, why are you so excited about that? I'm like, you're kidding me? This was Kirby's. You don't understand that? She doesn't understand that. But to me, I never got to meet Kirby. Unfortunately, I met Stan Lee 2 or 3 times, and I never got to meet Kirby, and I always regretted that because he was just. Just to me, he was just the best of his era. There's not even a close second place.
I think I had read today that Stan Lee is done going to cons and signing autographs.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Yeah, I think he's he has to rest a lot. The cons just take too much out of him. Yeah,
I saw him a couple of years ago. At a con, and it was nice, and I didn't get this signed at that time. It was a choice. I think it was like $100 for a signature or $100 for a picture. So I chose to have my son take a picture with him because he's a big Stan Lee fan, if you will.
Of course.
He likes his autobiography, and he likes Stanley as a character, as a person, kind of a hero to him. And so I chose for them to get a picture together because I figure I could probably pick up a signature later or some other time, and I did. But it's really something to think. It was rough then, and that was, oh gosh, maybe almost 3 years ago now. And there was no doubt that he was not as capable as of course he used to be, and that he was more or less being kind of packed around. But he was also, when they did the panels and everything, very spry, very alert, funny, and told a lot of jokes, and not all just rehearsed stuff. But he was very interactive. The crowd could ask questions. My son got to go up to the podium and ask a question of him and talk to him, and that was really neat. And he fully understood everything going on and spoke well. So, and I kind of understand that now it's not as much that way, that it's more just taking its toll,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, but we all got to grow old. Believe me, I'm there. I'm getting there at least. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
I love this setup here. Kirby cap all throughout.
Nice.
Treasury, comic, and lithograph. I could just stare at this all night long, guys. That's how much of a total geek I am. That I would just do that. So I'm glad I can talk to people who at least sort of can feel what I do.
Oh, sort of. No, we feel it. It's definite.
Well, certainly Chris, I know, being the Cap fan, he's like, yeah, I got you. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, I was
really
actually
like the poses too. They're very similar, and yet you can see similarities in the legs and the arm poses and the way that he did his chest angle. There's a lot of similarities, and yet they're all different. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Look at this shield and look at this shield. Just a slightly different angle, but you can tell that it's definitely the same artist doing that shield.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And this is also one of my favorites of his right here.
That's wild looking.
Yeah, this Kirby run here is just one of my just he was getting a little blockier now at this stage, but it was just quintessential Kirby to me. Just fabulous stuff.
Nice. Well, folks, I think we've done it again. We've wasted our own time. We've wasted everyone else's time. And we've had a good time doing it. What do you think, guys?
Kill Derby. Yeah, I think we've done it again as usual. We've gone off the tracks, off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
Veered off as usual, but man, what a blast to have Chris here. This is just, man, I'm just so above the moon here. You guys wouldn't believe it.
Well, thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thanks for being on the show, and really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know you've got your I'll try and get it right. I know it's Superior Sam, but I always get the first part. Is it the
right here? Hold on.
The amazing
right here, Bub. Right here.
Amazing Superior Sam, is that right?
The Amazing Adventure of Superior Sam.
Adventure of Superior Sam. Okay, cool.
And hold on. Let me just rub it in here. Looky here.
Yeah, I know. I see it.
There.
Yeah, I see the signature. Yeah.
It says to Metarog. Okay. Different is okay. Ah. Yes. This baby is never leaving my sweaty palms.
Awesome.
I'm glad you like that book. Those will be. I will give one to everybody who wins. They'll get a copy of the first issue.
Oh, they have no
prizes,
idea.
So.
They are, man. That is an excellent comic. I salute you, sir, a million times over. It is just just amazing comic. It really is.
Yeah, I got to send you the rest, man, because I think you'll enjoy them where they go.
Oh, I was going to order them off your site there, so don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll just wait.
I'm going to support you. If you could sign them for me, though, that would be great.
Oh, yeah. I tell everybody all the time, they come sign. I can't stand when I buy from a creator's website and they don't sign the stuff. Like, it drives me nuts. I'm like, you can't sign the book. Like, you wrote the letter out to like mail it to me. You wrote my name on there. Just sign it. That's all I want. I don't even care if you don't personalize it. Just sign it at least.
Oh, because they want to charge you $50 at a con for their signatures.
I just bought a book off a guy. I bought it through his Instagram page. He was self-promoting his own comic like I do. And he's like, hey, it would mean a lot if you picked up a copy of my comic. So I went and ordered it to support him. And I got it in the mail. And I was like, I literally know you write and print this. You didn't sign this? And he, I sent him a message and I was like, hey, I enjoyed the comic. Not to give you like constructive criticism, but I really would have appreciated if you had signed the comic, or at least, and his reply was, you didn't ask me to. And I was like, there's nowhere that says I should have to. Like, on my site, it says if you want it personalized, please message me, but it says all comics come signed.
Yeah.
This had nothing on there. So I was like, I didn't know that I had to, because it didn't say. And he's like, well, if you get another one, I'll sign it. And I was like, I don't think I'm getting a second, but okay.
Well,
it was a good sales pitch. Sell 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Chris,
again,
you're a little bit different than most creators. Let's just put it that way. So a lot of creators are unfortunately, like I said, like when you go to cons and for a signature, which is what takes 10 seconds, they charge you $50.
I'll tell you what was
that's a crime,
crazy.
Man. That is a crime.
Danny O'Neill was not charging at the show that I was just at.
Yeah, I saw your show. I saw your video. Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, are you doing donations? Because he's big with CBDLF and the Hero Initiative.
Right.
And he said, no, I decided to just do a show for free. And I was like, well, I've got to donate something. So I gave him, some money. And he walked over to Larry Hama's Hero Initiative thing and put it in his Hero Initiative cup.
Yeah.
I was like,
he gets it.
Works for me.
He gets it. He's there for the fans that appreciate his work. He's not there to gouge you out just because he's a creator. And that I have major respect for somebody like that. Major.
Yeah,
respect.
definitely.
Yeah, I got no problem paying for an autograph, making a donation, as long as, it's not crazy.
Right.
Like, I don't want to pay, to get my Tales of Suspense 59 here signed because it's a Tales of Suspense 59. I'll tell you a great quick story. This is not to throw Dan Jurgens under the bus.
Okay.
He was very nice. I was at Baltimore Comic-Con 2 years ago. Jurgens was there, and all I wanted to do was get my Convergence Superman #2 First John Kent signed by him. That's all I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And some guy walked up to him while everybody was in line, and they had an early Superman that was signed by Siegel and Schuster, and they wanted Jurgens to sign it.
Ooh.
And he said, sure, I'll sign it. And I think he told him like $50, even though you're signing for free everything else.
Oh.
And the guy said, why do I have to pay and no one else does? And he said, because I think you're just going to turn around and sell the book. And he says, yeah, so what? And they got into an argument and Jurgens left. He said, I'm not signing anymore. I'm done. I'm going to a panel. And he just left.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, I was then over at the Hero Initiative booth meeting Steve Englehart, and he walked up and was talking with Steve Englehart about how he was tired of people taking advantage of his signature and, getting him to sign a book and then flipping it for more money because he was doing this for free and just wanted to be there for the fans that wanted to meet him. And I was just sitting there like, I can appreciate that,
Yeah.
I really could. And then in my head, I was like, do I try to slide my book over to get him to sign it?
That's what I was
I was just like, in my head, I was like, no, because Steve Englehart hasn't signed my book yet, and I don't want to cause an issue with him.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because I got to interview him from that, meeting him on that. So,
Steve Englehart is one of probably my top 3 writers. So that would be awesome.
I did an interview with him for my Captain America Facebook page.
Oh, you see, I don't.
We talked about. I'll send you a link to the interview.
Okay, because I'm old school, man. I barely can get this camera going, you know. So you gotta throw me a bone to the old guy, you know.
Yeah, I did that one, and then I did one with Alan Bellman as well.
Oh, Bellman. Oh man, come on.
Yeah,
Now you're
and
going.
Bellman was cool.
You're going old school, Betty. Woo.
Well,
send me the email me the links to all that, and also to your Superior Sam page. And I'm gonna put that in the description when YouTube does its thing and adds this as an archived video. I'll have access to it later, and I'm gonna update it with all that information so that people can get your book. And I hear that they come signed, which we're thankful for. Yeah. And also check out some of your other content. So that'd be great if you'd send that to me.
Will do, man, for sure. Thank you very much again for having me, guys. I really appreciated being on here.
Oh, it's been fun.
What a thrill, Chris, man. What a thrill to talk to you live, man. I'm like shivering over here, buddy.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we've done it. Some more. I always know if I want to stop Roger from yammering, I got to start 10 minutes early. So see what I did there, Raj?
Yeah, I got you. Touche.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to our special guest, Chris, and thanks as always to Roger for showing up and giving us a good time. And we'll catch you all next week, barring any further injuries. So we'll be all right. And we'll see you all next Monday at 6:00 Central, 7:00 Eastern. And I think we have a guest already lined up for next week. Ooh. And then we might be accepting some guests for the week after that. So if anyone's interested in being on the show, let me know, and I'll fit you into the schedule. Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Chris. And thank you all for watching, and have a great night.
Thank you, Bub.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Good night, Chris.
Night, Roger.